I've been kicked out of my near every bar around. I've been locked up for driving 120 through town. I've been shot at and cut with a knife, messing around with another man's wife. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Threw my boss out the window and got fired for my last job. Hot-wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard. Beat my brother-in-law half to death. Lost $20 on his football bet. But other than that, we ain't nothing, just good old boys. Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change. Ain't no harm by the things we do or the trouble that we get.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. It is Caldo Wednesday today. Glad you're all here. Thanks for joining us on Magic, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are. Check on in. Make sure you like and share the videos. If you ever want to watch the videos or you want to catch something that we've said, make sure you like and follow us on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube. That way you'll never miss an episode, even if you can't tune in live at 7 o'clock Central.
Yeah, and that's
Daylight
fair.
time.
That's actually encouraging for several of you who have shown a propensity for having difficulty keeping up. You can go back and re-listen to what you misunderstood and then inform yourself. They call that the Democrat hour. It's just the second version where you go, oh, now I know what they were saying. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by our great friends at AT Deer and Feed. Really, for everything you need for your farm, ranch, your yard, inside your home, insecticides, pesticides, anything you need, ivermectin, go get it. Deer and Feed, 76 degrees in Victoria, under cloudy skies, heading to a high of 93. Slight chance of rain, very slight, 10% this afternoon.
We had some thunder and lightning in the area last night, like 6:37-ish, but I don't know that we had any rain.
Okay. I'm going to give a shout out to two friends of mine or three friends of mine and a friend of yours.
Okay.
Okay. So Daryl Lesack and Gilbert Reyna both promoted to assistant city manager.
Nice.
Under Jesus Garza this past week, and our own, I take pride in her ascent, Christy Euchre, instead of being the assistant director of basically everything, she's now the director
of everything,
basically everything.
Okay.
So, of course, both Daryl and Gilbert have been there for years and years and years. And
Daryl, of course, over all the environmental science services,
Parks and Rec, all of that. He's over all of that. And then Gilbert, of course, has been on the finance side forever. And
surprised he's still here with the finance guy, because apparently he does really good.
Yeah, hats off.
Oh, there we go. There was some rain in the area. Rena Scherer says they got rain at her house. Rained in downtown Victoria.
It did rain yesterday evening.
It was threatening around my place, but did not see any. Monty Howard checking in. Tammy Keeling, Lisa Poole, Linda Chris, Scott Snow, Monty Howard again.
Monty Howard's having that Texas X's football viewing party over in San Antonio for the Ohio State game, and I can't make it. I've got a family wedding that weekend, and it's also that is also somewhere in there is Ryland's birthday. I don't remember exactly. I can just tell you that the Texas Ohio State kickoff is at 11 a.m. and I will not be leaving for anybody's wedding, you idiot, until after that game is over. Who does that? I mean, as a rule, there's a reason you get married in the summer. June is a great time to get married because there's no football. Don't be stupid.
Lenny Chris, Marvin Mickish, Bobby Leister. Looking forward to Call to Wednesday. Daniel Wade White, Mark Kurtz. Good morning, Marina.
The actual arrogance that anybody would decide to get married on a college football Saturday.
Don't have to. Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I like overthinking it? Oh, well, they only get married once. That's a lie. 50% of all marriages end in divorce. I mean, well, don't bring me into your temporary bad decision on a Saturday during college football season.
You know, and yeah, I mean, there's a reason why in Canada, most people don't get married. If they get married on a Saturday, it's not during hockey night in Canada.
All right, that's dumb.
Ricky King, Greg Garcia, David Glass on the podium this morning. Heather Stewart just missing.
Yeah.
Let's see who else is in. Jordan Glass, Junior Samples, Torrin Bales. Glad you're all here. Where do we start? Let's start with maybe Gaza.
Yeah, Gaza. You remember Gaza? That was where Israel and Hamas were having a fight.
That was when, remember what started all that?
Let's
a couple
see.
Octobers ago.
The Hamas people on October the 7th or 6th or 7th, they decided unprovoked to storm into Israel. They were beheading people in the streets,
raping women and children, stealing them, killing
anarchy that Americans really can't comprehend. And Americans really did in general go, oh, it can't be that bad. But they go
Hamas.
They took a bunch of hostages.
Still have over 20.
And the world kind of took the position of, well, gee, they just want their own Palestinian state. So they went to war for it. Then Israel's been pretty much kicking their ass ever since. Is that fair?
That's probably a pretty fair summary.
That's pretty much what happened. So what are you seeing? Oh, look at that. I wish we could put that picture on the screen.
Oh, you want me to do that?
That is so. Yeah, I do. In fact, let's tell them what they're going to see while we're doing that.
You're going to see a picture from
the picture of a photographer
from Breitbart News.
From Breitbart,
but this is a apparently you're going to see the story. There it is.
Is it up? Is it on the screen?
Right there.
So look at this picture. You'll see a guy squatted down in front of a wall with a totally staged, totally fake photo opportunity
allegedly
of these folks from Gaza with their empty pots begging, pleading, oh, Lord, help us.
Didn't you and I wonder last week? Allah help us. Didn't you and I wonder last week how these people, if their houses have been blown to smithereens, how did they get pots for food?
They all had.
Where are they going to go cook it?
Yeah, well, they're going to go do that in their sovereign Palestinian land. There's Micah Patton checking in. Good morning,
so Breitbart this morning reporting that apparently photographers have staged, or maybe one photographer has staged a bunch of photos in Gaza to amplify
his anti-Israel stance
and the humanitarian crisis
right
that is going on. Keep in mind, Hamas is not allowed trucks to get into Hamas or into Gaza.
So this says today it was revealed that this Time magazine photo from Gaza was completely staged, is a total fake, but they published it anyway.
And apparently it's not even Breitbart's reporting on what the German news magazine Bild is reporting. So this is coming out of Germany.
There it is. There it is. And there's the picture on the cover of Time magazine, emphasizing that the entire thing was fake. That doesn't mean there's not a hardship in Gaza. That doesn't mean that war is not going on. It means that this is not authentic, genuine, honest journalism. And it's photojournalism. But journalism, when Time magazine is putting it on their cover, it's not genuine. It's not authentic. Of course, Time may have been duped. The photographer,
they may have. They
freelance guy.
sold them the photo. Yeah. Well, apparently, according to this, Time may have known that, but they published it anyway. But apparently, according to Build, the hunger is almost always real, but the images are often not quite so.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's hunger. War is not a good thing. You don't just, hey, honey, you hold down the bunker here, and I'm going to run over to Chick-fil-A and come back with some nuggets. It's not working that way in Gaza. In other news, Israel's still seeking to eradicate Hamas.
Meanwhile, the rest of the world trying to legitimize the Palestinian state and in doing so, Hamas. Let's be honest. They won't admit this. This is what's really going on. They're not legitimizing Palestine and the Palestinian people. They're legitimizing Hamas because they are the leaders of the Palestinian people. The rest of the world does not have the guts to stand up to Hamas for what they are doing to their own people and what they have been doing to their own people for decades. But it doesn't surprise me because the world doesn't stand up to freaking China either in what they do to people.
Yeah.
Our world leaders are a bunch of hypocrites. The only one they ever stand up to, Donald Trump. Or try to.
Well,
he's the worst guy in the world. You got Hamas keeping their people impoverished, uneducated. You've got China slaving Africans and some of their own Chinese people.
Nobody cares.
So that we can have our iPhones and our $800 Nikes.
Yeah, nobody
$1,000 Gucci sneakers, but nobody cares about that. We only care about Donald Trump being the bad guy.
Which, if you don't believe us, look at the fact that right now, Ann Johnson, representative from West U, she's a Texas State House rep.
She's a Democrat.
She's a Democrat,
leader, isn't she?
Yeah, Democrat. And she, there's Gene Wu. Gene Wu become kind of he's like the guy because everybody wants to hear from a guy named Wu. Ann Johnson has now brought the redistricting which is only one of the issues, the special session sedition of the Democrats. She's brought that full circle to where now that's Donald Trump's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. She literally said, I had to stand up to Donald Trump, and that's why I left the state.
Yeah, they're getting their talking points in order. And here's the funny thing. Oh, we're still working in Chicago was something she said. No, you're not.
Yeah, we're working for our constituents is what she was pleading this morning.
And the lies she was telling, we were watching Scripps News this morning. The lies she was telling, Texas is flooding. They're worried about redistricting and cheating for Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's cheating, and we're refusing.
The first, if I recall correctly, the first thing they did.
Let me read this to you. It says Trump and Governor Abbott are working together to try to rig Texas congressional map, manufacturing 5 GOP seats to steal a majority in Congress after the 26 midterms. It was John Busey III. I refuse to stand idly by while the president destroys our country, our Constitution, and our democracy. That's why I'm in Chicago. We're here talking with Governor Pritzker about how we can ensure that Texans have the representation that they deserve.
Why aren't Texans pissed off that these idiots went to Chicago to talk to some fat moron in Illinois about what Texans need?
True story. As if
some
Illinois
fat
is
rich moron.
One of the most gerrymandered states in the country is Illinois. And Ann Johnson knows better. See, here's the problem that you end up when you find the left or the right. When a politician espouses ideas to you that you know that they know are wrong, they're pleading with you to be ignorant. They're begging that you're too stupid to follow what's going on. And Ann Johnson says, we do this every 10 years. They shouldn't be doing this right now.
We must, yeah. The rules say we only do this every 10 years.
That's not true.
That's not true.
You got to do it every 10 years. You can do it, basically when you're in power.
Yeah.
And that's how California got where they are. Governor Newsom saying yesterday, I'm going to do the same thing.
Here's the question that I've yet to hear, and the guy on Scripps News today didn't do a bad job.
No, he was fair, and she was. And by the way, she's very articulate,
and she she answered the questions.
Yeah.
She stood to her point, and give her credit that way. But a couple of questions he asked I thought were interesting. What are you going to do to pay the $500 fine? And she said, "Well,
Texas only pays us $600 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
We're public servants, and we're serving publicly, and I've got another job, and I'll use that money to pay the fines."
So I don't know what business she owns, but if Republicans really want,
very quick to go, this is a hill I'm willing to die on, and I'm committed to Texans. It's a small price to pay to save democracy for all of you. Literally. Am I exaggerating at all? It's a small price to pay to save democracy.
But here's the question that they won't ask these Texas Democrats. What's your stance on the Census Bureau miscounting to the point that Republicans didn't gain seats in 2022 that they should have gained if the counts were correct?
Right. They lied on the census back then. They counted people that weren't citizens. Everything. It benefited the Democrats. Five House of Representative seats in California alone. And as a result, they're saying, well,
Texas should have had 2 more seats.
Let's
2 more congressional seats
for another 10 years. Right. Torrin Bell's stating it. Texas needs to add congressional representation because of increased population. California should lose for the same reason.
But they haven't asked Ann Johnson. They haven't asked Mr. Wu. They haven't asked Busey III. How do you explain what the Census Bureau did and the errors the Census Bureau had in 2020 census, which you must do every 10 years? You know what? In 2020, if it must have been done because that's what the Constitution, I think, calls for, how do you then fix the numbers that are so bad? You can't wait 10 years to fix numbers that have an impact on our elections.
That's right.
So here's Texas trying to redraw the maps. And when we found out we lost 2 seats or could have had 2 more seats.
Folks around the House seem to think that the new proposed maps are very fair. BJ Nelson says if they would ever say constitutional republic, but see, they can't because in general, the American public is ignorant.
The American public thinks this is a democracy. And if the Democrats ever stated that we are actually a constitutional republic, it would blow the minds of the Democrats and those that vote for them.
Yeah.
And it would completely destroy the educational system because we don't teach that anymore.
Let's try to take a quick break, then I'm sure we'll find something positive. Hang on.
It is Caldo Wednesday today. Get to Veracruz Restaurant today. You can have anything on the menu that you want, but today only you can also have the caldo, which is on the menu on Wednesdays only. Caldo there is, get in there. Great, great bowl of soup. And a huge bowl of soup. You'll take some home. Or go get 2 and you can feed the entire family for the week. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300, our go-to tow-to. Saw them on the road yesterday again. They've been busy. I'm not so sure. Allen's not complaining about the busyness, but that just tells me people aren't driving the way they should be. I saw a couple of Allen's bigger trucks on the road yesterday again. So if you need a wrecker, give Allen a call, 578-6300. Allen and Janet just do a great job, and they have really taken care of motorists in this region for as long as I can remember. The Dollar Floor Store, they'll take care of you. They are the floor trader. Rock bottom prices on brand name quality flooring that you'll find it somewhere else, but you'll pay more. All the same stuff you'll find in the big box stores, except you'll find at the Dollar Floor Store where they do everything to keep costs down. They even have products that you may not find everywhere else. Junior Samples, our own Junior, was looking for some grout. Didn't have it anywhere but at the dollar floor store.
There you go.
Plus, they've got backsplashes and tile and all sorts of things. But anything you want for the floor, they've got it over the dollar floor store. And in big enough quantities, you're not going to buy them out of whatever they have, and then you're going to end up with not enough for the rest of your house.
And then when he was done, he took the box from that grout, he put it out in his White Trash Services personal boutique-sized dumpster.
He did.
White Trash comes and picks that up from him, takes care of him. White Trash Services for all your trash-tastic needs.
I think he should get with his 3 neighbors and just get a dumpster.
Right.
And everybody put it in the dumpster, pick it up once a week.
550-1826. Reach out to White Trash Services. Did you say hi to the judge this morning?
I did not say hi to the
Suppose
judge
he's
yet
in.
because I see the judge is in. Let's see what else. Kathleen Leininger says the theatrics by the Democrats in Abbott and Burroughs is sickening and would love to see handcuffs and some actual repercussions at the end of the day. I don't think we'll see that. I'm not 100% sure either.
I don't know. I don't know where, you've heard us through the years, I think, be very critical of Governor Abbott. I think that although I have voted for him, it's almost like he's family, right? Like you're like, yeah, he's that cousin that he's family, but it doesn't mean you always agree with him.
No,
I think he's a very like a flag waving politician. He's a guy that whichever way the wind is blowing, the wheels will drift. The wheels drift with the wind.
It's got like those 2 shopping cart wheels in the front that just flap and go whichever way they want.
Yeah. But see, every now and then he needs that one that locks up when you go out there, and then he just goes around in circles for a while. That's what he needs.
Bunny Howard asks, what is the redistricting distracting us from? That's a good question.
Well, I think I'll tell you what I think part of it is, and for better or worse, I think part of the distraction, I've had conversations with folks who are in tune with this thing. I think part of it is to distract from the backlash over school budgeting and school vouchers. I think that there's some political weight that's lingering over the fact that even though we had the biggest increase ever in school funding, that the reality is that increase in real dollars, in today's dollars, doesn't bring us back to the level we were at in 1999. And so inflation has outpaced the increase, if you will. And that Texas teachers, they're underpaid. That's just the way it is. And we're not talking about that. As many of you just went, oh, here we go again, which is exactly why I think part of this is going on.
Well, and now you got Hakeem Jeffries weighing in that Texas's redistricting is an effort to steal the midterm elections. Here's the problem. The Democrats have nothing.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
This is all they have. They have
come
nothing.
out and vote against the machine. Trump is a dictator. Vote against it. That's all the left can do. They can't say vote for us. That is the left political strategy.
This is
vote against Trump.
Here's the distraction, Monty Howard. They're distracting Democrats and Americans from the fact that the Democrat Party is becoming socialist/communist.
Yeah, they're now the Democrat socialist. How long before we had the New Democrats? The New Democrat Party. The new modern super cool Democrat Party.
I'm gonna bring up this quote that Andrew Wilkow, who's a conservative talk show host on Sirius XM, and he's been stating this and for a long time, and I heard it again the other day, and I had to make a note of it because it's just so accurate, apropos. Andrew Wilkow says socialism is the intersection between the incompetent and the incapable. And if you really think about that, he nails it. Yeah. Because those that are so incompetent, they want somebody else to do for them because they can't do for themselves. And same with those that are incapable. They don't want to do the work. They just want to reap the rewards from somebody else doing the work. And if anybody ever traveled in any of the socialist, former Soviet bloc countries in Eastern Europe, before the Berlin Wall fell, if you had the opportunity to go to Czechoslovakia, Poland, nobody took pride in their jobs because it didn't matter. One guy could work hard, the woman next to him didn't have to work hard, or vice versa, and they were still getting the same block of cheese, loaf of bread, and moldy meat at the end of the week that the person next to him. Didn't matter. They had no pride in what they were doing.
Human beings need the motivation to succeed. It's not that everybody has to do better than everybody. Some people are motivated because success allows them to do more for others. That's human empathy. That's sympathy. That's responsibility. I like that. But if you and I are, at the end of the day, if you work harder than me, you don't pull me up in a socialist environment. All I do is drag you down to where you go. It doesn't matter. It's the analogy works great in a school classroom. Everybody come in. Everybody is going to make an A. It doesn't matter what your grade is. You're all going to make an A. I mean, are you going to stay up and study extra the night before because you want to earn your A? You're making the same A as everybody else. Crazy.
It is crazy.
Yep. I don't know.
Feelings.
Yeah, I know. 11 million independent voters in Texas should pick a side.
U.S. trade deficit hit a near 2-year low of $60.2 billion in June.
No, don't talk about that. Because that's got to be Trump's. You can't give the president credit for that. That's got to be the trend that's coming in because of President Biden's super successful tenure. And now we're reaping that 6 months later.
Trade deficit. Yeah. I mean, obviously because we're not importing as much, which is interesting because remember all the talk before when Trump was just threatening tariffs and companies went and bought tons of stuff on the front end of tariffs that some never came. Some did.
Yeah.
Well, now apparently companies are figuring it out. Either they bought so much in January, they still got inventory, doubt it. Or they've realized they've found ways to
avoid the tariffs,
not import as much, which means they're probably buying American.
And when you avoid the tariff, that's my goal for y'all. Avoid the tariff. If you avoid the tariff, you allow the tariff to have the effect that it's supposed to have on the foreign manufacturer. The trade gap with China closed roughly 1/3 in June to $9.4 billion. Its lowest level in over 21 years and down about 70% since January. Think about this. People are not buying if you choose to buy a Chinese product that used to cost $1 and now it has to cost $1.30 because there's a tariff, then you choose to buy that product. You're not being hurt by this administration. You're making a choice. Well, that widget is worth $1.30 to me. And by the way, I can now sell it for $1.50 as opposed to selling it for $1.25. I'll eat a little bit of it. If it's worth it, then buy it. But in the long run, we want to not buy from those tariffed countries.
Trade deficit down $11.5 billion from compared to May, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. So there you go.
It's genius. It is genius. It will be short term. So we'll see what happens.
And Chris says Czech Republic very proud of their government. The fact they have only 3% unemployment rates. Many of the taxi drivers talked to said everybody there works. It's good for everybody.
By the way, why
5% unemployment is really no unemployment.
Why is it so appalling to the left, because it's only the left that feels this way. Why is it so appalling to the left that if you're going to be on Medicaid, you've either got to be working or actively trying to find a job? If you're on unemployment benefits, you have to show that you're seeking employment. That makes sense. It's not just a hand out, it's a hand up. I'm all about people being able to get unemployment benefits, and I'm all about people not having to forego health care just because they're out of work. But if you are intentionally, permanently out of work, I don't believe that you should have Medicaid based on my tax dollars. If you are not over 65, I'm talking about you're a 35-year-old able-bodied person
who'd rather sit around all day and drink or do drugs.
I'll
and just
be honest,
lazy.
I personally would rather you go ahead and die. I mean, I'm just taking the same exact tack that the federal government takes on anybody that's retired. The federal government wants you to work until 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the day that you retire. And ideally, you would die in your sleep that night. So am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
And it's certainly that way in Canada. When you're no longer contributing to the system in the form of taxation, relatively speaking, you know, you're a guy that makes 200 grand a year and you retire, you're obviously still going to have taxes, but not at the level you did when you were actively working. The government wants you to die. They're not, do not believe that the government thinks, well done, servant of the country. We can't wait to replace that hip for you. I'm telling you, I know, I watched it. I watched as the benefits spent a lot of money on my father. And I know that some guy in DC was going, is this guy ever going to kick it? He's killing us. Now, my folks had supplemental and private health insurance and those kinds of things and money. But at the end of the day, for pennies a day, you can adopt an elderly person. The government wants you to die. That's just a fact. The day you quit paying taxes.
Absolutely, they do.
Alabama.
The song just came to mind when
Randy
you were going.
Owen on lead vocal. Country flashback. You could probably still catch them in Branson, even though they're on Medicaid. Is it unfair?
That just hit me when you were talking about working until you die.
But is it unfair? Is it? There were people booing and I don't even remember who the speaker was, but the speaker was saying you need, and this is just the government's position, this regime's position, you need to be actively seeking employment. If you're younger than 65 and able-bodied, you don't just get Medicaid. And people, boo, free health care is a right. It ain't free. That's the whole point. I'm paying for some deadbeat 35-year-old in some inner city who'd rather sit around and smoke crack and play PS5 than get a job. Get a job or go ahead and die. I don't care if you die. I don't. As far as being an American goes, you're either contributing to this country or you are a drag on this country. We're going to always have enough legitimate drags on this country. We are. Financially speaking, the indigent elderly are a drag on this country. But especially if they happen to be veterans, I don't want these people suffering. I want these people taken care of. You're going to have them mentally ill. I am all for, I don't want to euthanize all these crazy people. I want them in an asylum where they belong, can be cared for, out of the general population and off our streets. By the way, I could scoop up all the crack dealers in all these inner cities and put them all in a facility tomorrow. I would have a couple of nurses there, but guess what? If while they're going cold turkey, coming down off the drugs, If a couple of them die, I don't really care. I don't. I just don't. Label me inhumane at the government level. Now, at the individual level, if I come home one day and find Ash curled up in a ball with a crack pipe in his hand, I'm going to exhaust every asset in my control to try to help my friend, as should other people, helping their family members, helping their acquaintances, helping those that are, you've got a lot of folks that are, they want to be part of something bigger. So they donate, they want to help. That's great. But as a country, we can't build our existence around helping these people who make bad choices.
There's the shift and the difference, though. At one time, and it wasn't that long ago, your family was expected to help you. And they did so. Now it's the government's job to help you.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And in the past, there were families where entire families picked up an extra shift, picked up an extra job. And in many cases, everybody's standard of living dropped to support that family member. That is their choice. It is not right for a government to say, we're now taking from you, your standard of living is going to drop because this guy over here is a crackhead. Adam Sugar says combat veterans are a huge drag. Not to me. I mean, I know what you're saying, Adam. I do, but it gives me a talking point. I'm 100% for not caring at all about the crackheads and the homeless and all that, unless they are also part of the subset called veterans. Veterans deserve a different level of care. As long as there's a homeless veteran, as long as there's a veteran who needs mental health assistance, I don't care about the people deciding to live under a bridge in San Francisco. I will tell you this, the government system, there are lots of people, Ash, that are on total military disability who aren't. They're just not. And they get a cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching every month.
And then they go work under the table for cash.
That's exactly
somewhere else and make $1 gazillion.
That's right.
Yeah. But you know what? It's not just military folks. There's a problem in our system. The government deems you 100% disabled. So they're going to give you a bunch of money to live, but you can still go find a job doing something for cash under the table or driving Uber or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
How are you 100% disabled by the government, but you're still able to go work? That's the one that always gets me.
Right. Now, Adam Shearer does this. Says, look into it. There's veterans manipulating disability at a higher rate than other social programs, no doubt. And don't get me wrong, I do believe your donations to nonprofit organizations, your willingness to part with your hard-earned dollars willingly to support those who are properly vetted, like, like first thing came to mind, the Salvation Army. If you want to give money to the Salvation Army, that should be a complete write-off for you tax-wise. Yeah. That's your choice.
It is if you itemize.
Right. And if it's not, the government assumes a certain amount of charity and you get that anyway.
Yeah.
Linda says, after talking to many nurses who were brought here out of the country, I realized after a while that they actually thought it was normal for everyone in this country at a certain point to go into a nursing home. When I explained that was not the norm, they were very surprised. Yeah. I mean, I don't, I've been very, very blessed. My mother's 87 years old and still essentially lives on her own. She has a car. I make sure that I'm not on the roads when she's driving, but she has a car. I make her file a flight plan.
You have Life 360 with your mom, so you can be on the other side of town.
I've wired it in to her Audi where Caden can control her with his PS5.
Nice.
Takes her out of harm's way. No, but my mom's not in a nursing home. Oh, can I just give you another one? I want your opinion on something. And if you're with the city, and I know you're listening, I know it's your job, you minion, to report to Jesus what we say. I want to understand. I know that there's some, and Junior, you can probably help with this. When you send out what we used to call a modulance, a mobile EMS, you send out an ambulance, if you will. There's always a fire truck with it. It's got something to do with you've got to have an extra EMT, and all firemen are EMTs. And somebody help me, our own Ricky De La Garza could call and explain this. But I don't understand why, if you dispatch a EMS unit to, say, Twin Pines, a nursing home that's full of nurses, why do we have to spend $1,000 to fire up the old hook and ladder Rampart 1 Adam 12, and here goes $1 million worth of mobile equipment down the road? Why do we have to do that? There's nurses everywhere over there. I don't get that. And by the way,
I don't either.
I'm sure a significant percentage of the emergency calls are to places such as assisted living facilities. Yeah, I don't understand that. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Every time I see a fire truck, I don't like it. I don't like it personally that the firemen fire up the big red machine to go to HEB. I just don't like it. I get it. They're on duty, but I mean, send one dude with a grocery list. We do it at my house. Why do we have to have 5 firemen walking through there fingering all the fruit? Just, I don't get it. I'm a fireman's best friend. We love the firemen. BJ says, Brent, I don't think they always send the fire truck. I think they do.
Ricky King says, when they dispatch a medical unit, they dispatch a fire truck for the manpower to help and to take care of the patient.
Well, can't they jump in the back?
Couldn't they put a third person in that unit? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's better to put a third person in the unit than to put a unit in the third person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Somewhere along the way, some city got sued for not sending a person they should have sent. And now every city overcompensates by sending the entire fire truck.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I love our firemen. I love our PD.
Yeah.
First responders are placed in my
it's the same
heart.
thing when cities send police cars with medical units.
Oh, man,
the
I've
same
seen
thing
it.
because, they might get attacked by somebody.
Look, I've seen situations where somebody's looking at a car accident. And I saw it once over off like Colorado Street between Maine and Navarro. There was like one of those little, somebody flipped a car. There were like 6 police cars there. It's a waste. It's ridiculous. If I wanted to do something illegal, especially in the city, I would stage an accident. So I had police cars all there and I could go rob the bank.
Especially when we don't investigate our accidents here.
See if we can get Ricky King on the, I had Ricky calling in. Hang on, Ricky. We're not really good at this. If you people did a better job of calling in,
click that. You get that sorted out. I'll do the next break.
All right.
The chopping block, $7 fillets, get in there today. It's also Wacky Wing Wednesday, so you can enjoy their pre-marinated. Actually, they're not pre-marinated; they're marinated wings, and you can enjoy them. You don't have to do the work.
It's a great call. You can go to Veracruz today for lunch and have caldo, and then go by the chopping block and scoop up some wings.
And then you could have your leftover caldo and wings for dinner tonight. Yeah. Ricky King. Oh, I didn't put the number on the screen today. Oh, that's my fault.
Ricky's got it.
361-894-4020.
See if he shows up here. See if he answers.
Chesnick Furniture Company for all your furniture needs in Victoria.
Hello.
Hey, Ricky, let us finish this break real quick. Chesnick Furniture Company.
Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Get by and see why you just always do better at Chesnick. It's on the plaque on the front of the store.
It really is.
It is. For over 105 years now. Bobby Leon pointed out for over 105 years now. They've been sponsoring with us for 9. Think about that.
We have a long way to go.
10%
in their existence. Beginning of this show.
And they've been around
for half of Victoria's existence.
As have Went Services. Went Services for turnkey generator service, whether you need a Kohler, Cummins, Briggs & Stratton, or you want a Generac, American-made generator, they can give you turnkey generator service. It is still storm season. Yep. Reach out to Went today. Atzenhofer for your next Chevy. Go by and see Tommy Taylor. We've been telling you to go by and introduce yourself to Tommy Taylor for 2 years now because we talked to Tommy about the flags are flying, people are buying, selling cars like candy bars, and all the little witticisms. And Tommy said, you know what I really wish? I wish people would come in and ask for me. I want to know what Victoria wants. And I thought, man, that's very humble. And now he's the dealership principal.
Yep.
So you can go by and see him directly. Ricky King, we appreciate you calling in, sir. Do you have some insight on what we were discussing about the firemen and the paramedics and all that?
Okay, which part you want to know?
Well, I want to know. You start
All of
wherever
it.
you want to, sir, and just tell us what you know.
Well, like the nursing homes, we send the truck because there's 5 people that are on an ambulance and a truck. There's 3 on the engine and 2 on the medic unit. And you may get a call for difficulty breathing. You get to the nursing home, and that person is actually in a full cardiac arrest. So, and the nurses there aren't nurses that they're like RVN. They're nurses' aides. A lot of them at a nursing home are nurses' aides.
Okay.
So you don't have the skill set. They don't have the skill set to help us. And they don't know what our protocols are and how we work. That's why you see a truck going to a nursing home, because you never know what you're going to get when you get there.
That's
Does
fair.
that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. My
All right.
thought would be we
And
should
then-
have an emergency Tahoe that we put those
We
3
have
guys in.
We have that. We have that.
Okay.
A lot of times you'll see a Tahoe going with, like, in station, for example, at Station 4, it's over by Parkway Church. They have a Tahoe that goes instead of the ladder truck. So there's 3 people in the Tahoe and 2 people in the ambulance, and we send a Tahoe. We do that at a couple of stations.
There you
When I
go.
was there.
Okay. That makes
So,
sense.
and then when you see the people at the grocery stores and you see the fire truck there with the 3 guys, they're walking through there buying groceries over there for 2 days. So they got to have groceries to eat.
And they need
they have to
they
get-
need that big truck to get those groceries back.
Yeah, because them guys eat a lot of food, man.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, for a fire department.
Well, you know, I love the there's a beautiful station. In fact, I recommend you go by and see it, folks. It's out off Ball Airport Road, and the even the firemen call it the vacation station. And I love that. It's just because it's
That went out there by you.
yeah, because all the homes are fairly new, and they call it the vacation station. You go out there, do your 48.
There's no electrical issues
Well,
causing fires in the homes there.
We love we love all of our first responders, and I really appreciate you.
And the deal at the grocery store, they have to take the whole truck because they're still on call. If they get toned down, they'll leave their groceries right there, and the people put the groceries normally up for us or put them in a cooler for us, and they have to leave the grocery store and go straight to the call.
Absolutely.
call
That's see
Yeah.
you
That makes
educate.
sense.
That's the reason the truck goes there.
Beautiful.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, you be safe out there on the roads today, and we appreciate your insight, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank
take
you,
care.
Ricky.
Have a
Thank you,
great
man.
day.
Appreciate that. There we go. It's our own Ricky
That's
Champagne
Ricky
King. And I get it.
Champagne
You wouldn't
King.
want to load up the back of the Tahoe like you do.
Right.
And then you get called out and you got to take that Tahoe to meet the truck at some emergency scene, and all the ice cream melts in the back of that Tahoe.
Right. Exactly.
It's not good.
Exactly. And the listener
good.
says, so if you're over 30 and are quote unquote able bodied, but you have autism and it's difficult to get or hold a job, you should lose your Medicaid. I'll let you folks answer that. Common sense says no. Just common sense says no. I'm not saying that just because you're physically able bodied, I mean, able bodied to me also incorporates mental health.
Laney Sloan, good morning.
There you have it. Hey, Laney, known that gentleman all my life, and he loves blue water fishing.
There you go.
Deep.
What else do we want to talk about this morning? Robert F. Kennedy canceling nearly $500 million in grants and contracts to develop. Here's the headlines,
Here's
the way they
why.
were putting this, right?
Yeah.
RFK canceling vaccine grants.
Wants your kids to die. That's the panic that the left wants to throw out there.
What he has canceled are grants and contracts for mRNA vaccines.
Right. Such as the failed, now we know, failed COVID-19 vaccines.
Hadn't worked,
And they have different properties to them. mRNA,
causing lots of problems.
yes, enlarged hearts and other things. She's saying, hey, we're canceling this company. There's no reason to continue trying to develop those vaccines. 500 million, by the way, is a 600 million almost, is a drop in the bucket.
We don't even know what the mRNA vaccines will do to your body.
Yeah, he revoked a nearly $600 million contract to Moderna. He did this in May to Moderna, telling them we no longer need you to develop a vaccine against bird flu. The contrived hysteria where, like, I think 3 people got bird flu. Oh,
1.1 billion has now been canceled.
it's ridiculous.
Scott Hensley, immunologist at the University of Pennsylvania, tells
This
the
is
New
a
York
bad
Times.
day for science.
Yeah, why? Because he's been working to develop mRNA vaccines.
He's a scientist.
Yeah,
and he wants
he's going to
that
lose
money.
his job, maybe, or he can figure something else out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust mRNA vaccines.
I don't either.
I'm not a scientist or doctor.
I told
Science
you
is
that
too new.
in a selfish, immature, and irresponsible moment, I allowed Dawn to talk me into getting not 1, but 2 Moderna vaccines because we wanted to travel. We didn't know how long. Obviously, this contrived pandemic was going to go on. So I acquiesced and got the 2 vaccines. I'm telling you, was an athlete all my life. And I'm telling you that for the first time ever in my life, as I laid on my back, I could feel my heart beating. I have no doubt that I had a reaction to those vaccines and that for a period of time, my heart was somewhat enlarged. That's not good. Had I not been an athlete, out of shape, albeit, had I not, by far and bar none, had I not been an athlete all my life, I might be one of those people that had cardiac arrest from the vaccine. I would have had no doubt. I think I'm over it now. I think.
You think? Well, Jonathan Taves, 2-time Stanley Cup winner with the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm glad you told me. I
healthy.
would have thought he was a librarian in
very
Des
healthy.
Moines.
But suffered just now getting back into NHL this season, long COVID.
Yeah, we had lots of college kids dropping dead on the soccer pitch.
You have to wonder with all the heat-related illnesses these days that are going on, how much of it, because it's I don't know the data, but I pay attention to these things. There seem to be more of them.
Yeah.
I get a newsletter every day, and every day in that newsletter there's a story of some high school kid dropping dead of a heat-related illness from a summer workout that never used to be a problem.
Well,
nobody died in Junction, Texas when Bear Bryant was holding 2-a-days.
They were men, though. Those were boys that had grown up on a farm slinging hay bales around. They were used to the heat. I do applaud VISD, and I think
how much of that is the case?
No, there's
everybody
no doubt.
is used to air conditioning and
there's
not
no doubt.
sweating and working outside anymore.
Yeah. Well, these young whippersnappers. Like, we had AC when I was a kid. Who am I kidding? But what you're seeing now.
You had AC in the 40s?
Yeah, we did. Yep. You put a big block of ice in a swamp cooler. They are now practicing. Caden, the West High School football team, when school starts, they'll begin practicing on the field at 5:30 in the morning to get and then go to first period, and then they'll practice at night. And like 8 to, I'm not making this up, like 7 to 9:30, something like that. I don't know how they're actually going to play a game at like 7 o'clock on a Friday night. It's way too hot. We can't play. But we're also entering an era now where these kids that were homebound for the majority of a year are now, many of them are to the age where they're going into high school athletics. And these are kids that have been homeschooled and coddled, never had to participate in physical education. I think we're going to see some really, across the country, mediocre football over the next 5 to 10 years. Speaking of mediocre, the Astros update brought to you by the First State Bank of Louise. Astros anything but mediocre yesterday as a young pitcher. I don't know his first name because his last name is so striking. His last name, Blubaugh, blue ball. Very, I'm sure he never gets ribbed about that in the locker room. Gave you 5 innings came in early relief. I think in the first inning, I don't know who for. I wouldn't be surprised if it was our own Lance McCullers, but I know,
Second inning for Ort.
yeah. So Ort started and blue ball
No,
came in.
Okert started.
Okert started.
Only
and then,
1 2/3.
And then Ort got an out. And then they said, throw the blue ball kid out there. And he just sucked it up and went out there, gave him 5 innings. I think, let's see if I get my numbers right. 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. He had 5 strikeouts and 1 walk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did give up 2 home runs.
Yeah, he did. But Astros put on a power show, and the Astros, Yiner Diaz with
7-3.
another Yiner bomb. Astros rolling again, and the little team that could just seems to find a way to keep winning. They're doing fine. I think if the Astros make a deep playoff run, this will be the Astros team that I'm the most proud of.
Here's the guy that I think is sort of the key to everyone's talking about Correa. I think Jesus Sanchez that the Astros got for the Marlins in that 3-team trade with the Twins. He's hitting 300. I think he's had multiple hits in, I think, all but 1 game since he joined the Astros. Went 2 for 5 yesterday.
Right.
I think, and he can play all 3 outfield positions, which is great. He's also gives you a left-handed bat, which they lack. He played a little bit of right or left field yesterday, but he can play right when Cam Smith falters. So I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be an interesting piece to this and a lot bigger key piece of the Astros puzzle than people are giving credit for. Those. Anyway, that's what I think about this guy.
I agree.
Patrick Strauss asked, why do we use Abreu and Hader? I'm guessing they needed the work.
They just needed work. Neither one of them pitched much of late. I mean, in my mind, you don't want to use Josh Hader in a non-save situation, but that's more me being selfish about his stats. He's now got he leads the American League in saves. He's got 28 saves in 29 opportunities. He makes $19.5 million a year, and to me, he's the best value on the program. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that, you have times where you're like, oh, Hader gives up a bomb, then he'll strike out 3 people. He's just a phenomenal. He's Ryan Presley at his very best. But he's there every night.
3 games up on the Mariners and 4.5 up on the Rangers. Going to be an exciting August and September in the National League West, something we haven't seen, or in the American League West, something we haven't seen for a few years. Astros still in the, they're leading the division. They're doing well.
By the way, a listener in the know said they've been watching BJ and another listener kind of go back and forth about autism and do you lose your the technicality. I mentioned it earlier. If you're autistic, do you still get your Medicaid? It's that leftist whiny crap that we deal with every day. This listener who does know says BJ is technically correct. There are services for people with autism, for example, to get services with workforce and become self-sustaining. They will speak with a vocational rehab licensed counselor to help identify and obtain a job specifically for them. They will also be able to get a job coach to work on site with them. So there are things. Now, that doesn't mean I'm against those people. I don't mean it that way either. I'm not against those with special needs, whatever they may be, physical, mental, emotional, on Medicaid. What I'm talking about is the dude laid up on the sofa who there's nothing wrong with him but a case of the lazies. And he's like, it's all right, man. I got some health care.
Or a case of the boozies.
Right. And there's plenty of
druggies.
those. For every autistic person who can't get or hold a job, there's 5 or 6 people in the inner cities who just refuse to work.
And I listened to Donald Trump in a clip this morning talking about, because there's a lot of controversy how AI is going to take jobs away from people. And even our president said, well, we need more people to do these jobs. Wait a second. We've already got 6 million jobs that are apparently unfulfilled, and we've got how many millions of people on unemployment? There's jobs out there.
Oh, there's no doubt.
I don't believe we need a bunch of new people streaming in.
That's right.
Let's put Americans who can work to work. Let's train them to do jobs. Let's put money. If the government's going to invest in folks,
Right.
let's put money into job training so that the able-bodied Americans that are on unemployment right now because they can't find a job in their chosen field.
Right.
Let's teach them to find another chosen field.
Yeah, let's help them choose a field. What are you, Mike Rowe, all of a sudden?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Don't I, though?
Christy Thurman says, I've been, listening to a documentary. He says there's a large number of overdiagnosed autistic individuals. I do wonder about that. I think to a degree, aren't we all on a spectrum? I don't know where it fits
for sure.
For sure. But, I remember 5, maybe 10 years ago, every time you turned around, one of my kids' friends was getting prescribed Adderall. And they were all like the Walking Dead. I'm like, I would rather you, which is the way I was raised and was very successful in school, was sit down and shut up and let's learn something, as opposed to Carter skipped his med, let's send him to the office. I think you just need to bring the discipline back. Yep.
Astros update brought to you by the great folks at First State.
And they are
Bank.
super nice. I tell you what, whether you need a free checking account or a free savings account, go by and see Lolly, First State Bank of Louise, to cry. Oh, the National Wild Turkey Federation coming up on
August 14th.
It's going to be a blast. Tables available. You can go to the NWTF webpage or Facebook page, and it is going to be fun. You can join me and Ash. We'll be there.
Yep, going to be a good time.
Big table. It's like CCA. It's like Ducks Unlimited.
Lots of guns, lots of great items in the auction.
Yep.
Come on out.
Lots of fun. Folks, it's the top of the hour. It always is. It
Tomorrow
always comes around.
State Rep AJ Louderback's going to join us. He's going to call us in
fantastic.
from Austin, talk a little bit about some of the things that he was talking about.
Wait, he's not in Chicago?
No, he didn't go to Chicago.
Whew.
I had a clip ready to go today from him, but I think we'll talk to him tomorrow about what he was telling the folks who are on the panel. Because, Ann Johnson is saying, well, they're not doing any work. They actually were talking the issues that affected the response to the flooding in the Hill Country.
And he did great work on that committee, and I couldn't help but think, wow, what if we had a different state rep? What would they know about that?
And really talked about how different counties use different technology. So anyway, we'll get more into that tomorrow, but appreciate you all coming by today. And don't forget to like and share our videos on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. And we'll see you all mañana. Bye, folks.
Well, I've been kicked out of my near every bar around.